Welcome to Costa Rica. My name is Nate, and I live on an 18-acre farm with my brother and his family. I call my little piece of this paradise Finca Karuna. Here, I live in a wooden cabina, surrounded by nature. My goal is to learn to live self-sufficiently and sustainably in harmony with this land. Today, I want to share a part of that journey with you, showing you how I turned my overgrown, shaded-out front yard into a garden. Alright, farm fam, I've been kind of slacking on taking videos. Here at the cabina in the front slope, just cleared it, cleaned it up a lot, and now it looks like a whole new territory. So let's get started. So I think the first entrance to the garden is going to be here. Let's zoom out. It's going to be here in between this plant and this is a hummingbird tree. So all of this here up to the power cable, it's right there. A little pocket in there, and then the main entrance will be right there. More garden, and then along the road we're gonna make a hedge as well. Now it was time to start building garden beds. The first beds I built by digging a few inches down to loosen the soil and to make room for organic matter. I added calcium powder, banana stems, and some brush from cleaning up the area. The next set of beds were on top of lots of roots, so I didn't want to dig. Instead, I just sprinkled the calcium powder and put the banana stems on top of the soil. Then I covered that with topsoil that I collected while cleaning up the area. Eventually, it was time to transplant some of the seedlings that I had been growing. I also sowed lots of black beans from the grocery store. Then I arranged some circle beds at the start of the garden by condensing the topsoil. I also replaced the sticks and stems that I had used to map out the beds with bare branches that came from trees I had pruned. I also built some walkways with the branches. Then I started working on the area at the side of the garden, where I made some more circle beds with the topsoil and planted some ginger and turmeric along the edge. I also added some sweet potatoes as a ground cover. Fast forward a week, and it was time to do some maintenance to the garden before I went back to the States for a few weeks. Currently thinning out the plants. I already did 2 rows. Let's just swing on over here and show you guys what's up. So it's these rows here. These will also get thinned over there. Everything's got to get thinned for the most part, but I'm tackling these right now. Look at that, just like a canopy of green. This right here, this is called Mexican sunflower. It's a really cool plant that you grow from cuttings. Here we've got a little circle bed around a guanabana tree. More sunflowers, another Mexican sunflower doing really well. Beans in here, some wildflowers sprouting up. Here's holy basil, rose de Jamaica here. Here we've got tequisque, which is like malunga, it's a root crop. And then there's yucca. Here's the slope garden. In the slope garden, we've got a bunch of stuff. This is a flower, more okra, a mix of squash and pumpkin and whatnot. And then here we've got all beans, this little triangle plot. And then we've got the trellis section. What is up, guys? Finally back on the farm after a wonderful holiday season. It is now 2023. I want to do a little update. I want to show you guys what's going on in the garden. Making our way into the slope garden here. The hummingbird trees are all growing like crazy. And now we're here at the slope garden. Do a little pan in. Look at all that red. We've got a really ripe cucumber down here. That's gonna be seeds for the next batch. We got a little ball of a cucumber. Looks pretty neat. The beans are everywhere, really taking up the trellises. Look at all of that production. These okra over here are flowering. This one's like pink petaled. Over there, it's white. This tithonia is doing crazy. Huge bush, marigold looking plants. Here, it's looking awesome, a little bit like a jungle. This tithonia, although fallen, honestly looks really beautiful, just like this. Look at this. No idea what this plant is, but beautiful purple flower with the yellow flowers inside. And hello, Rosita. All right. Quick intermission to give this pretty girl some love. How you doing? The best pup. The cranberry hibiscus is doing great. These Mexican sunflowers are huge. Big ones over here too. And we got this squash, which is definitely dying, but the fruit's still going. Hasn't rotted. Hopefully it gets ripe and I can eat it and save the seeds. We're making our way over here to some more okra. First, check out all these beans. Bananas growing. But now we've got red okra here, 3 red okra. One of them is green though, go figure. This is really dying back, none of the fruit's producing, that's okay. Sweet potatoes here are really sprawling out, looking great. Yuca's growing, the tequisque is growing as well. More beans. And then if we can make our way, oh, check this out. Boom, bada bing. Squash growing on the vine. Now check this flower out. That is so cool, it's like coral. A bunch more beans. This is the bean farm. So things are looking good. I'm really stoked. Plenty of things not doing great. That's part of it. We're just learning how to live with this land and finding out what does well and working with nature, not against her. Some more squash there. So yeah, I'm jazzed up. Glad to be back. Glad to get back to work. So 2 days ago, I did a really big prune, my first real prune here since I started these gardens. There used to be a big bunch of foliage right here. There used to be really big Mexican sunflowers right here that got cut. So look at these. They got lopped pretty hardcore. Huge Mexican sunflowers that were right here, they got lopped as well. Oh, we got a butterfly on this flower over here. Check her out. I ended up lopping this rose to Jamaica right here. So here, there's the big part of the foliage I was pointing out on the ridge that got taken out. Chopped those almost completely. And also ended up doing was taking out some plants. There was a zucchini here, it's now been chopped. There was a squash there, chopped. There was 2 okras there, a cucumber there, that got chopped. And then, this is a big one too. Ooh, look, butterfly. This used to be full of foliage. So I did a lot of pruning and I consolidated that organic material in certain areas. Took down the okras because they were really leggy. They clearly weren't being the best versions of themselves because I put them in the wrong position. So now this is going to become a prepped bed for the next planting cycle. Look at this cool little inchworm. It's been a while, guys. I have not been filming really at all for the past few weeks. A couple weeks ago, something like that. I can't really, there's no sense of time in this brain anymore. It's all a blur. But I did a big prune, but I left a lot that wasn't pruned. So you can see here, we've got all of these hummingbird trees that are big and lush, and they're wonderful, and they're bringing all the hummingbirds over, and it's really great to get to watch every day, but they're casting a lot of shade. And we got to open up this garden. We got to start going through this cycle. Everything's going to get a big chop, and all of that's going to go into the garden, and that's going to feed the plants, man. Feed the soil, feed the soil. Pruning complete. Bittersweet. Things look certainly less green now, but knowing what it's gonna bring, very excited, very stoked. So come check it out. So I left this one here to hopefully flower really soon and keep on giving food to the hummingbirds. So now we have a nice bed of mulch. So this is a lot of material to break down and feed the soil life. Here along the slope in the slope garden, I've had all of these planting circles where I kind of aggregated or collected the topsoil, and that's where I put plants initially. And I'm maintaining the integrity of those and then using those as little fertility hotspots. So that's where I put all the mulch. The evolution continues. Here we are. So we used to have trellises here. There was some beans that were having a second flush of production, but I decided to cut all of them down, take out the trellises. New philosophy, got to focus on building soil and creating biomass. These outside rows have just been seeded with some Mexican sunflower cuttings. In the middle, I did gandules with Mexican sunflower, the annual version, and then basil, regular and holy basil. This bed here, planted with some transplants. They're catching pretty well. They're doing good. They're definitely growing. So I'm excited about that. And then more Mexican sunflower over here. So you can tell the focus is shifting. All of these beds where there was Mexican sunflower used to have food plants, and it just didn't work out. Lots of Mexican sunflower. So now we're focusing on building soil and on creating biomass, mulch. I think my philosophy in the beginning was a little bit too focused on like, I want stuff for me, I want delicious food. And in time we'll get that, but we gotta focus on the soil first. Things are changing and in the best ways. Even though it's been kind of sad to see plants struggle and almost slipped there and not have the opportunity to harvest a lot of food, it's helping me readapt the way I'm thinking about things and get more of my energy and focus to be devoted to actually regenerating the land and not just getting stuff for me. And by giving more, I'll end up getting more in the long run. So yeah, things are looking good. Super excited. Updates to come. Ciao for now.